the SmackDown before the first Saturday night's main event of 2026. It was a decent SmackDown. I will admit, for like the first 15 minutes of the show, I was having a lot of technical difficulties on my live stream, so I was a little distracted and missed quite a bit. Sami Zayn opened the show. He was in his hometown, Montreal. And then Trick Williams came out, and then Damian Priest came out. So I kind of missed all of that. And then the first match of the night was Ilya Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes for the Men's United States Championship. From what I saw, that was a pretty good match. Ilya Dragunov is just not human, I don't think. One, that man bleeds easier than anyone on the roster. And two, he is a monster. He was in the ring. Carmelo Hayes was on the apron outside of the ropes. He lit way over and suplexed him. It was insane. Very impressive, but it was insane. I do kind of like how that match ended. So Carmelo and The Miz had a little interaction in the back. Carmelo hit The Miz with Ilya, I believe. Someone has given him more opportunity than The Miz. And so The Miz, being The Miz, goes out and shoves Ilya Dragunov off of the top rope and essentially helps Carmelo Hayes win the match. And The Miz was like, how's that for opportunity? So I guess they're probably continuing a little bit with Carmelo and The Miz, even though The Miz technically helped Carmelo. I don't think Carmelo really appreciated it, but it's The Miz. What are you going to do? I really liked the Cody Rhodes and the Jacob Fatu segment. It started with Michael Cole interviewing Cody Rhodes, like in the back. Not in the back, but like a formal interview, sitting in chairs and all that. Then Jacob Fatu kind of wrecks the party. Him and Cody ended up having a really good like little face-off there. And according to Jacob, Drew McIntyre is the one that kicked his teeth in. But Drew is steadfast that he did not. I don't know why Drew would continue to lie. He usually does tell the truth. Usually. I don't know. But it also doesn't make sense to me because it just doesn't make sense that Jacob is saying that it was Drew. Because, I mean, he would have seen them coming, right? I don't know how they would have worked it unless they pushed him from behind and he hit his face on something. Or maybe he was knocked out prior to getting his teeth kicked out. I don't know. That little angle on it doesn't make sense to me fully. Just because I feel like Jacob would have seen them coming. If he didn't see them, I feel like he would be saying that. That doesn't really make sense to me. So I guess we'll see what they do. It almost kind of looked like it could have been Randy Orton, which would be very interesting. But again, I guess, hang on. If it was Randy Orton, maybe he did knock Jacob out from behind. RKO'd him from behind, knocked him out, and then punted him. But does one know what an RKO feels like from behind? Because Drew McIntyre could have claymored him. I don't know. I don't know why I'm trying to figure this out right in this moment. But according to Jacob, Drew was the one to do it. No evidence, no idea. It was a very anticlimactic reveal if that was the case. So I could also see it not being that. We'll find out, I'm sure. Hopefully soon. I also like that the MFTs are the new tag champs. They had a match tonight against the Wyatt Six. Solo is still in possession of the lantern. And they won. They officially have the tag titles. So I kind of like that. I am kind of rooting for the MFTs this year. They seem to be getting well established, and I hate to use that, but like the vision of the MFTs is kind of coming together. I don't know. I really like Solo. I really want this group to work. So I'm kind of rooting for them. So they're the current tag champs. We'll see where they go from here. If anything, I still like the storyline between them and the White Six with the lantern. So regardless if they're the tag champs, I do like that story. We also got a match announcement for tonight at SNME. We are going to get Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles, which I'm very excited for, but people pointed out that they're a little worried now that AJ Styles is going to lose to Gunther at the Royal Rumble, and we remember that he put his career on the line. So they're concerned that his match with Shinsuke is like a final dream match for AJ, and he's actually going to lose. And he's going to retire, which is wild to think about. But at the end of the day, it's up to AJ. I don't know. That would be great. It would be a great story, but it would be crazy, right? Would you like if AJ Styles retired at the Royal Rumble. I figured we'd get him all year. I don't know how I feel about it. One, I think it makes a great story. I like that that is on the line. I like the high stakes of it. But I don't know, man. We'll find out next week. Drew had a fire promo. He mentioned Sammy's son. That was such a burn. Oh my gosh. Such a burn. But Sammy got him backstage. Got him with the old. Jimmy's was still better to Gunther, but this one was pretty good second. I didn't like, however, that Julia and Kiana James won the number 1 contenders tag match. I believe they are going to go against whoever wins tonight between Rio and Liv and Roxanne. I don't know, dude. Tell me if you disagree, but Julia got no reaction. Like, not even boos when they entered the match, right? Like, she's not getting anything, so I feel like they're doing another push. Potentially double champ. They also put her, declared her for the Rumble, so potential triple champ. I will not be thrilled with that, because I feel like they are pushing when the crowd isn't saying they want this, right? Because getting no reaction is not good. I'd rather her be getting completely booed, since she is a heel, but just getting nothing is not a good sign. And I don't know if that big of a push will help or if it will just make things worse. But yeah, they did win the number 1 contenders tag match. I did, however, like that Kiana got the pin. I think that's potentially a good way to set up some kind of turn. Maybe Kiana turns face, because hot take incoming. I think Julia might be holding back Kiana. Man, I'm sorry, Julia fans, but from how I see it, that's kind of what it feels like. I also loved at the very end of the show, Randy came out. Well, it was the whole match between Trick Williams and Damian Priest. I don't know why we got this match. Maybe it's a setup thing, but whatever. Because they're literally in the Fatal 4-Way tonight on SNME. So, they had a match. Sami Zayn was out there just standing there, just watching. And then Trick throws Damian into Sammy. Sammy gets upset, gets in the ring, starts beating on Trick. The match is disqualified. Of course it is. And then Randy Orton comes out. So all of the Fatal 4-Way men are out there. That's why I think, a setup match. I don't know. But Randy RKO'd Trick Williams, of course. And then him and Sammy were talking in the ring. And I was like, come on, RKO him. I was like, he won't, but he should. And sure enough, he RKO's Sami Zayn. So, I don't know. I like that. Randy Orton means business. He really wants that title. I didn't like Jade versus Chelsea Green. It felt completely pointless. It wasn't a title match. So again, Jade is not defending the title. Jordynne Grace was out there because Chelsea Green started to petition again for a 3rd member of the Secret Service. I don't know if that's going to be ongoing or if they just needed a reason for Jordynne to be out there. But Jordynne essentially agreed because it was against Jade and she wanted to be out there and confront Jade. But she did get on the mic and she was like, what was this for? This was pointless. I think she said, was this to prove that you can fight when it's not for the title or whatever? So I don't know. They're clearly setting up for Jade and Jordynne, which I'm excited for. But I really think they're going to make us wait until WrestleMania for Jade to defend that belt. I don't know. I'm very torn on Jade because I feel like she is such a dominant character with the strength, with the presence, with the attitude, the heelness of her character. It makes sense for what they're doing. Like, oh, no. Not just anyone is going to get to go for my belt. Like, you're not on my level type thing. But she could also be a very, dominant champ. Like a fighting champ of just running through everybody. But I feel like right now, and this is maybe why they're doing it, I don't know, I'm not in the writer's room, it just feels like everyone that can go against her right now is just not quite on that level. So maybe that's why. Again, I don't know, but it does appear that we are going to have to wait until WrestleMania to get Jordynne versus Jade. We also had a few Royal Rumble declarations. As I said, Julia will be in the Rumble. They also announced Roman Reigns via graphic, essentially. Roman Reigns can't even show up to say he's in the Royal Rumble. Come on. I feel like they should have let Roman be a surprise. I feel like we knew he was going to be in the Rumble, but that's probably one of those high ticket items of knowing Roman Reigns is going to be there. But we also got Jordynne Grace. We got Charlexa in there. We got Lash and Nia. We got maybe Truth. I don't know. He was trying to give his balls to Nick Aldis. Talking about the Rumble, Nick said later. But I think that was R-Truth's way of declaring for the Rumble. Leave it to Truth. Truth and his balls, I tell you. Solo Sikoa also declared for the Rumble. And I think that was it so far. I'm really bad at keeping track who declares and who doesn't. But I think that was all we got for this week. Funniest moment of the night to me was during Nathan Frazier and Johnny Gargano's match. Of course, you had Axiom on the outside for Nathan, and then you had Candice on the outside for Johnny. Candice interfered, but then Axiom went in that whole feud in that story. So I thought that was very, very funny. Of course, Truth and his thing, his Royal Rumble thing was pretty funny. The match of the night is also going to go to Nathan Frazier and Johnny Gargano. I feel like Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes also put on a banger. But as I said, I was a little distracted, so I missed quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to Nathan Frazier and Johnny Gargano. I thought that was an excellent match. Performance of the night, got to give it to Jacob Fatu. His segment with Cody was really good. I kind of like where he was going. He's like, y'all think I'm unhinged. Y'all think I'm not in control. But he's like, I am in control. So I'm kind of excited to see where that goes. We do have Jacob versus Cody tonight. That's going to be a good match. I'm very excited for Saturday night's main event. So yeah, overall, I think it was a pretty good SmackDown. As always, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out, and I'll see you in the next one.